Hi, my name is Fatima Shirley, and I'll be reviewing the article from K-12 Blueprint on the Planning and Implementation Framework for a BYOD program. In this article, we'll be discussing the 9 steps Oakview High School in Cincinnati, Ohio took to implement their successful BYOD program. Step 1. Engage the community. What plan doesn't go more smoothly when everyone involved is truly on board? It is important to consult with everyone who will be impacted by this program, such as students, teachers, parents, business leaders, and board members. A BYD program needs the support and buy-in of all parties involved. There are a variety of methods to obtain useful information to determine if your BYD program is the best model for technology funding, such as online surveys, open forum information nights, anonymous polling, and meetings with smaller groups of representatives like stakeholders. It's essential to gain an understanding for each party's current use of technology, what they envision for a BYD program, and what their concerns are, because we want to avoid misconceptions. Many of the issues that can cause a BYD program to fail can be resolved through open communication and engagement with the community. Step 2. Develop a team. A well-defined team that meets regularly will move the objectives of a BYD program forward. First part is the core team, comprised of instructional designers and technology specialists who support the district while planning the policy document, exploring current policies, calculating the availability of technology, troubleshooting, and teacher training. Next comes the administration and board members. This comprised of principals, assistant principals, and stakeholders. They show their support through helping the core team and teachers with planning, implementation of suggested technology, and encouraging professional development. Then you have the teachers. Now the teachers, they show support for e-learning through testing the new technologies in their classroom, planning and running professional development seminars, and advancing the district's technology goals. Some teachers may even be provided an extra stipend if additional planning or workload is required. After that, we have students. Now there could be a dedicated group of focus students which may participate during the planning phase. Being digital natives and future consumers of the BYD programs, their responsibilities include learning and testing new additional educational technologies and providing feedback to the teachers, administrators, and core team in order to troubleshoot problems. In addition, some students involved in the program may be offered additional school credit upon successful completion of the course. Parents are also part of this team, and they provide input that may weigh heavily on the program's design since they make major decisions for their children. In addition, they can serve as valuable volunteers on project-specific teams. Lastly, you have the community. A BYD team could also include the input from local business owners as well, especially if the district is seeking community funding. Also, knowing the current business trends will help the BYD team to decide which skills need to be taught to students so they can be successful future employees in the next 5 to 10 years. Step 3. Develop the physical infrastructure. Opening up school doors to student and staff devices will create heavy demands on the network infrastructure. Therefore, it's important to talk to network specialists to determine the best setup for district goals, existing infrastructure, and budget. Also important to consider while developing this infrastructure is data security, protection from viruses and malware, and an inappropriate use on the internet. Moreover, creating a segmented network will be useful so that teachers, students, and guests will have different networks to avoid security conflicts. Step 4. Developing the software infrastructure. In a BYOD program, students will bring a variety of devices, from laptops to tablets to smartphones. Therefore, the challenge for any school district is to provide software tools that can be utilized on any device. Web-based applications work on most platforms and can accommodate common software needs, including photo editing and multimedia presentation. In addition, most BYOD programs use cloud-based storage for sharing and collaboration to ensure file compatibility. Step 5. Develop a portal. Once the software tools are determined, the next step is to create a central location, a one-stop shop for students, staff, and parents to access web applications and district licensed software. This kind of one-stop shop for logins will help students and staff use the technology efficiently and effectively, and can serve as a communication hub for district, school, and technology-specific announcements. Some important things to consider when developing a portal: keep it organized, easy to use and navigate through. Display the most popular applications on the main page. And while the portal like this can be very simple, it can also include more advanced features like customized views for each user depending on what programs are used. Step 6. Develop an acceptable use policy. This is fundamental to clearly communicating the guidelines for how a BYOD program will work on a day-to-day basis and to facilitate effective classroom management on different devices. These policies set up when and where it is appropriate for devices to be used, what kind of behavior is and is not acceptable when using these devices, and what the consequences are for inappropriate use. Therefore, it is essential that all students and staff have a chance to review the policy and sign off on it at the beginning of each year. Step 7. Build a curriculum. A curriculum that encourages the use of technology may include the following components. Personal support. For instance, e-learning coaches work with teachers and administrators to support technology integration, course development, and the management of a BYD program. Next is course companion sites. For instance, teachers develop companion sites which feature daily schedules, electronic textbooks, course resources, online assignments and assessments. Then we have digital citizenship. Direct instruction on internet safety, search strategies, and copyright infringement. Step 8. Consider devices. This is one of the primary goals behind BYOD, making technology and information more easily accessible for students. With that in mind, the most effective BYOD programs will try to be as device inclusive as possible. However, not all devices can do all things. Therefore, programs need to create a list of acceptable devices for students to use, such as the device consideration letter. Furthermore, if a student does not have a personal device, then it's up to the school implementing this BYOD program to provide the student with a device. Lastly, step 9, provide ongoing professional development. As with any other school-wide or district initiative, training and support is vital to the success of this program, making sure teachers and staff are given the time to learn about and become familiar with the BYOD model. Offer technology training, as well as strategies for effective classroom management, because BYOD learning environments are less filtered and controlled compared to traditional methods, which means a teacher needs to have a greater depth of knowledge about technology as well as effective classroom management strategies. Ultimately, the success of the program is determined by how the teacher chooses to implement the devices in the classroom. How well they integrate technology with learning. Now for my thoughts. I have heard the term digital native quite often lately. It is defined as a person born and brought up during the age of digital technology and therefore familiar with computers and the internet from an early age. Today's generations of students are like any other. These digital natives and their mobile devices are attached at the hip, and since they always kept their mobile devices on them, why not utilize that resource? Which is why I believe BYOD seems to be the natural course of action in our day and age. We have learned how technology enhances learning by engaging the students, opening lines of communication, as well as providing an environment where collaboration and student participation is easier. Furthermore, students take on a more active role in their learning. They're the ones in the driver's seat, the teachers along for the ride guiding them through the learning. With the countless opportunities provided by technology to enhance learning, it's no wonder that programs like BYOD are being implemented in schools today. The integration between technology and education is inevitable. Thank you for listening to my presentation.